Welcome to the J-Files. For copyright reasons, the music has been edited. To hear all the tracks in full, head to the J-Files on doublej.net.au and click on the playlist.
Tape ID 14th of May 2015. See a J-File on Double J, Linda Mariano, end of ID.
The J-Files.
Coming from the street.
The J-Files.
Yeah, it's still a great album.
A wonderful accident, really.
The J-Files on Double J.
You're going to get up, you're going to sing, and you're going to be great. So I got up and I sang, and it was a beautiful moment. And suddenly there were hands in the air.
Oh, clap your hands, clap your hands. Gonna swing amnesia, amnesia.
From acid jazz to pop icon, 07, crisp, and writing for some of the biggest new artists in the world, Sia Furler has had such a remarkable career. She's got that exquisite voice. She's a prolific songwriter, and she just happens to come from that humble town called Adelaide in South Australia. Hello, I'm Linda Mariano, and welcome to the Sia J-File on Double J. Now, with your help tonight, we are going to delve into that total roller coaster story of a seemingly shy collaborator who's become one of our biggest exports. So, coming up for you tonight, you're going to hear live tracks recorded by Triple J at the Big Day Out festivals. You'll also hear archives with Sia spanning 15 odd years, and you'll also hear from someone who has written songs with Sia for a very long time. So first, let's kick it off with a real hit. We're going back to her record, Some People Have Real Problems, and one of the lead tracks from it. This is The Girl You Lost to Cocaine on Sia, the J-File on Double J.
I've stuck around through thick and through thin. You cannot deny I've always been in, but I've watched you stand still as a snowman. When I don't see a change, you're always a meltdown. Yeah, I've been your crutch. You smell sad and touch. Yeah, I took you home when you drunk too much, but I can survive with you by my side. See, I'll never get laid while I'm running your life. No, I just don't wanna, so I'm walking away. There is nothing that you can do, I will not stay. No, I don't need time, so I'm walking away. Yeah, I am a girl with a lot on her plate.
Has it been a long-term ambition of yours to include your dog in some way or shape in the recording?
I like to include my dog in everything I do, both dogs. I like to try and include them in every aspect of my life, aside from sex. I'm not really into that.
Thank God.
Surprisingly, apparently a lot of people are into that, and I'm the weird one.
The J-Files on Double J.
Never drank. There are plenty of people out there who would care about me. You see, you see, you see.
The J-Files.
See, I have
on Double J. You're listening to the Sia J File tonight. Linda Mariano with you. We're having some fun. We're getting cruisy. What a nice little run there. A real variety of the stuff that Sia's put out over the years. We started off in 2008, a real hit from her record, Some People Have Real Problems. The Girl You Lost to Cocaine was that bold little number you heard. In the middle, we went really old school. We went back to 1996. Sia was singing with an acid jazz band that she became friends with in her hometown of Adelaide. They were called Crisp, and from their record, The Word and the Deal, you heard a track called Sia's Song, which then appeared on a Sia record later called I'm Not Important to You. Really wearing her heart on her sleeve, isn't she? And just then, a beautiful track from a British duo called 07 that when Sia moved to London in, you know, her kind of early career, she was singing with them. She was also singing as a backup singer for Jamiroquai, would you believe? Somersault from 07 from a record that they put out in 2004. Coming up for you later tonight, of course, we are just going to be digging into more of those collaborations. Andrew, Sarah and Elizabeth, you've all pointed out that you love the track Breathe Me. Alira, you say it as well. You say, I loved it then, and then you craved more of her stuff, and then you bawled your eyes out for the 6 Feet Under finale when they used Breathe Me in that scene. You absolutely love her. You guys have got to keep listening because I think the chances are pretty damn high that we are going to have to play Breathe Me for you a little bit later. Okay, right now, let's dig into the Triple J archive, and what an archive. Sia popped by the Triple J studios in 2003. She played live and she spoke to Costa and Nicole about her second album, Healing is Difficult.
Besides the Drink to Get Drunk track and now the Taken for Granted, you've been relatively unknown in Australia. How has it been in the UK for you?
Really good. I'm quite successful there.
But is it mad? Is it this like sort of thing that we're envisaging that, you know, everyone's after you and there's crazy stuff going on?
Generally, people don't run after me, just generally in life. But the people at record companies, they've been running after me. It's been really good. There's been a bidding war on, which is the fantasy. So,
Sia, what made you go over to the UK in the first place?
the story is that I went to go around the world, and I went to meet up with a friend. We were going to go travelling through the UK, and instead he was, a week before I was due to arrive, he was hit and killed on Kensington High Street by a black taxi. So his friends called me up and said, listen, come anyway. So I did, and I moved in with them, the 13 Australians, in a 3-bedroom apartment in Shepherd's Bush. And we got drunk, really. That's where I wrote Drink to Get Drunk. We got drunk for a long time. We were all sort of grieving in our own special, unique ways. And lots of the album was written then. And then it was a bit of a rescue mission, really. I've got 2 English cousins. And one of their friends rang up and said, listen, aren't you a singer? Why aren't you singing? And I said, I'm a bit busy now being an alcoholic. And he said, well, listen, you don't have any money, do you? And I said, no. And he said, okay, well, come to this jam. I'm going to come and pick you up. I'll buy you beers. You're going to get up, you're going to sing, and you're going to be great. So I got up and I sang, and it was a beautiful moment. And suddenly there were hands in the air, and there was a guy running backwards and forwards in front of the stage going, "You're with me, you're with me." And he ended up managing me for the next 3 years. He introduced me to Long Lost Brother Records, and I signed to them, and I wrote the album over the last 4 years. I started recording it 3 years ago, and it was finished 2 years ago, and it's just coming out here now.
And is that because of the bidding, the elongated bidding war that's been happening? That's taken so long for it to come out.
Album.
Oh, that's for your next record.
Yeah, that's for my next record. Yeah.
Okay, so this record has been out in over in the UK.
The single "Taken for Granted," which we're about to play for you, is been out there for nearly 2 years.
Oh, okay.
And but the album's only been out since September.
All right. Well, why don't you take your position?
Okay.
And have a little play for us. Assume the position, Nicole. You talk us through it.
Okay, well, this is Sia Furler, guitarist accompaniment here with Jessie Flavel, and they will be playing... Flavel? Juicy Falafel. Juicy Falafel on guitar, playing Taken for Granted off the Healing is Difficult album on Triple J. Here we go.
I'm sitting in the car again, waiting for you. You said you'd be a minute, yeah.
but you've been 22. See, you got to do your hair and get it just right. Sometimes you're in the bathroom for half of the night, and I'm waiting for you again. Yes, I'm waiting for you, and I'm waiting for you again. Tell me what can I do? And I'm waiting for you again. Yes, I'm waiting for you, and I'm waiting for you again. It's the usual cool. I'm sitting by the phone.
On Triple J with Taken for Granted. That was fantastic.
You're listening to the J Files.
Tasty morsels, Costa.
All right.
Yay.
You win the prize.
Bring the night on. Bring me the moon and stars. Let's send away the sun, yeah. Bring the night on. And maybe if I'm lucky, I'll end up in your arms.
On Double J, the very vibrant sounds of Bring Night by Sia. That was featured on her 2010 album We Are Born. It was a big record for her. She won 2 ARIAs that year as well for Best Independent Release and Best Pop Release for that record. And before that, diving back into the Triple J archives, a live performance that she did here with Costa and Nicole back in 2003 from an album that was very much, I guess, born of heartbreak when she put out a record called Healing is Difficult. Taken for Granted was what you heard.
I quite agree.
What about like a version on Triple J?
Here we are, we've got Montaigne in covering Sia's Chandelier for Like a Version. So you're a bit of a hero of yours, someone that you've looked up to at all?
Yeah, definitely. Like, especially older stuff. I used to listen to, like, obviously the classic Breathe Me. I loved that. Like, I was obsessed with that song for ages, and Sunday, and just a bunch of the old stuff, and like the new stuff now that's a little more, I think, it's got a little, it's more poppy, but it's still like great. It's like great pop, and I think she's fantastic. I think she's amazing.
On Double J, you're listening to The J Files.
That's right, and it's all about Sia Furler tonight. Linda Mariano with you. It is such a fabulous couple of hours where we're just diving into all these collaborations, all these originals that she's done. Now, I do love it when you get involved, and we've got so many texts coming in. Kath, you've texted in. You say you want to hear Soon Will Be Found. You say that is your Sia perfection. That is a beautiful song. Nice choice. I reckon we're going to try and squeeze it on for you a little bit later. If you're on Twitter, yes, hashtag JFiles. Robbie Buck, old mate Robbie's gotten involved, saying that his favourite of all time is the Quartet remix of her track Breathe Me. Lo-fi and beautiful. A lot of people are pointing out Breathe Me. In fact, in just a moment, you'll hear a very special live recording that Triple J did for you at a Big Day Out festival many years ago. You'll hear hear that in just a bit. Stick around. And on the Double J Radio Facebook as well, Craig, you saw Crisp, her first band at Adelaide Unibar, about 1996, supporting Spiderbait and Sidewinder. Whoa. And Selena from Townsville in Queensland, you discovered Sia back in around 2000, and you say you liked her stuff. This got back to Sia, and she gave you a phone call? What? Tell me the story.
I probably became a fan because I really loved the Healing is Difficult album and Drink to Get Drunk, etc. But my boyfriend at the time, who lived in Adelaide, had a cafe there, and she happened to walk in, and he sent me a photo, and I just sent back probably a WTF message. And then next minute my phone rang, and I pretty much said a see you next Tuesday message to him, and it was her on the phone. And I said, is this CFL? And she said, yes, it is. And I said, why don't you ever tour here? And she goes, because no one knows me here except probably you and Jeff. So I can probably stand on a doorstep of a pub and that'll be you two done.
Oh, my God.
And we had a little bit of a chat, and, yeah, she's lovely.
What do you remember what else she said to you?
She told me she was going to a kid's birthday party later on the day, and, yeah, that was pretty much it. We just had a little chit-chat about what was going on with 07 at the time, but, yeah, she's a lovely lady.
And so you kind of helped convince her to come back and tour Australia? Can you take the credit for that, Selena? Just do it.
Sure, okay. I'll do it.
It's fine. You became best friends with her via a phone call. She had a great cup of coffee with your boyfriend, and then she just needed to come back home.
She ran into him at WOMAD like a week later, and she was like, hey, how you going? Like they were best mates, and he was going, okay, that's the CFL. That was cool.
So then you actually got to meet her in the end?
I've never met her, but I'd love to.
Oh, but she's met your boyfriend. Oh, man.
Yes. Yeah.
She is so down to earth, diving through all of this archival interviews, and I've been looking at stuff just all over YouTube. She just hasn't changed. The way that she speaks to, even these days with her, the facade of saying, I don't want to be a pop star and I'm going to face away, or I'm going to wear this outrageous costume where no one can see my face, and, I'm going to be completely covered or have my back to the audience. The connection is still there, isn't it?
Yeah, and I did have one of her songs at my wedding, so...
Oh, which one did you have?
My wedding song was Summer Salt.
Oh, man. Did you hear that? We played that about 10 minutes ago.
It's just my favourite. That and Destiny always bring me to tears.
Oh, it's gorgeous. It's like listening to like Elliott Smith and Sia and Air all wrapped into one in that kind of era of music.
That is a really good description.
Yeah. Well, look, let's get into some live music now, because she's an incredible performer on record, but live, her voice just kills it. And you'll also hear the story behind this particular song coming up a little bit later. But here you go. Live music recorded by Triple J, The Big Day Out. This is Breathe Me by Sia on the J-File.
I'm done again. I have been here time before. Myself again today. The worst part is there's no one else to blame.
Thank you. That was pretty funny when you shouted at them next door. That felt pretty good. I love you. I know we don't really know each other and you could be really weird and dangerous, but I'm gonna say it. Okay, now it's time to crap your pants.
The J-Files. Join in on Facebook and Twitter. #JFiles.
You still make me cry like a song of the East that loses its center but always finds its way back home. Oh, how this bird has flown. So I'm making up my mind. I'm gonna rescue myself tonight. Yeah, I'm making up my mind. I'll forget you in time. I am leaving you, you are leaving me.
With Double J, we're diving into Sia's back catalogue tonight and a couple of special ones for you there. First, we dived into the Triple J archives of live recordings. There are so many from over the years. That was Sia and a real favourite, Breathe Me, live at the Big Day Art Festival in 2011. What a voice. What stage banter as well, right? And just then, a track that, it actually took me a little while to remember that it featured Sia because even the cover art to that song didn't credit her on it. It's Lior, Melbourne artist Lior, featuring Sia on I'll Forget You from a record that he put out in 2008. Keep listening tonight. Some other real favourites on the way for you. My name's Linda Mariano. We're doing the Sia J File here on Double J with you. Coming up soon, a couple of real ballads that are fan favourites. They're on the way. And Carl from Newcastle, you've asked for Clap Your Hands, or should I say Crap Your Pants? That's what Sia called it, didn't she? I'm going to throw that on for you next.
The J Files.
On Double J.
We're going to dig into the Sia story a bit more now, and to help us with that, I'd like to introduce you to this guy.
I'm Sam Dixon. I'm a songwriter and producer, musician, and I'm based in London, United Kingdom.
So Sam's worked with Sia as her bass player and musical director. He's also a long-time songwriting collaborator, and he had a classical music upbringing.
Finished high school, went into the conservatorium, and there was in the jazz studies doing bass guitar. Left at the end of first year and joined a band called Dig, Directions and Groove, which was back in the heady days of acid jazz.
Acid jazz? How good was the 90s?
Think sort of early 70s James Brown style, sort of, breakbeat drums, horn section, crossed with these sort of contemporary hip-hop elements. So, there might be an MC rapping or program beats instead of a live drummer sometimes.
One of the bands that was kicking around this scene was Crisp.
We kept hearing about this band from Adelaide called Crisp and this amazing young singer. When we were back in Adelaide, they'd end up playing with us, sort of doing shows with us, and got to know Sia really well. Became fast friends, really.
Sia was a collaborator right from the beginning.
If there were festivals and Skunk Hour were playing, we'd bump into Sia there. But she was very sort of well-known within that scene and would often come in and sit in with other bands if they were through Adelaide or if she was in Sydney at the time.
And after Sia moved to London and made Healing Is Difficult, Sam kept in touch. So by this stage, he'd left his band to focus on songwriting and production.
And Sia was back one Christmas. I think it was Christmas 2002. And she was like, I'm making an album. Let's do some writing together.
And they hit it off.
So we had this amazing 10-day, intensive 10-day songwriting period where we wrote 13 songs in 10 days, and 7 of them formed the core of the Colour the Small One album. That was the first writing we'd ever done together, really, but it was just, we just clicked, and it sort of was the beginning of that relationship as opposed to playing funk jams 10 years earlier.
Colour the Small One was born, but not everything went as planned.
It didn't really connect. It didn't really set the world on fire, and we only did a very small amount of touring. And then she kind of down tools because I think it, didn't do what she was expecting and hoping it would. And she kind of pulled herself out of music for a while and moved with her boyfriend to the countryside in the UK and raised alpacas on an alpaca farm. And she was loving that and really happy doing that.
But then something happened that would just change everything.
All of a sudden, Breathe Me was used in the finale of this TV show 6 Feet Under, which was a big HBO show at the time. And this was, 2 years after the album had been released.
2 years after the record had come out, she was all of a sudden flooded with emails and excitement about this album, Colour the Small One.
There was this huge interest in demand in what she was doing. So off the back of that, Some People Have Real Problems album was made.
Sam wrote tracks on this, as well as the next album, We Are Born, and since then, well...
She obviously hasn't stopped.
But what is it like to work with Sia?
It all happens very quickly. With Sia, when you get something, you really get something. You've got to really be working at her pace and her speed to keep up with her ideas. She's clearly super gifted melodically and lyrically and sort of concept-wise, but she also has fantastic musical ideas, be it an idea for a bass line or a keyboard part or something, or some kind of guitar counter melody or something. She'll have those in her head. But yeah, you're usually done. Usually you've got a song done with Sia in an hour and a half, 2 hours, which is pretty crazy.
And although Sia's crossed over to a much broader audience now, Sam reckons she's stayed true to her craft.
I don't feel like she's compromised what she does artistically, and she's making music that she believes in and likes, which is, I think that's the real test of an artist, is if they're doing something they actually believe in. She's right up there. She's right up the very top now, which is incredible.
That's long-term collaborator Samuel Dixon there via Skype from New York City tonight. And here is one of the big songs that they wrote together. It was voted into the Hottest 100 for Triple J in 2010 at number 13. This is Clap Your Hands.
Oh, clap your hands, clap your hands. Turn the lights on my nights, there's a light that we only get one day. Oh, clap your hands, clap your hands. Come on dance, take a chance on romance, we only get one shot at good. Oh, clap your hands, clap your hands. Turn the lights on my nights, this is life that we only get one day. Oh, clap your hands, clap your hands. Come on down, take a chance on romance, we only get one shot at good. Oh, clap your hands, clap your hands. Clap your hands.
The J Files.
Death by anger, this is true. Oh, just let him go, he can't hurt you. Oh, little girl, this is such a cruel, cruel world. This is the first a million broken hearts. Tears on your pillow will do and you will learn just how to love again. Oh, my weeping willow, let your leaves fall and return. Oh, darling, the seasons are your friend.
On Double J, you're listening to the J Files.
1, 2, you only say what you want to say. You only say what you want to. You only say what you want to say. You only say what you want to.
What a track. Really going back. That was from Sia's debut record from 1997, Only See. It's just got that absolute trip-hop vibe to it. Beautiful stuff from her. And before that, something from, well, later in the catalogue, Clap Your Hands from Sia from the album We Are Born, and you heard from the co-writer of that as well, Sam Dixon. It is the Double J J-File tonight, all about Sia. You're with Linda. Lots of texts. Shouts to Danielle. You texted all the way from Berlin this evening. Hello. You say, could you please play Soon Will Be Found or The Fight for my sister Bianca, who's listening on the other side of the world in Melbourne right now. Danielle, I'm going to do one better. I'll play both of those. Both of those are going to be coming up for you later on tonight in the J-File. And another texter says, the Soul Seekers mix of Day Too Soon, please. So many clubbing memories from when I was just starting to go out. Man, there's another song that I think really got pumped out in the clubs when Sia put it out. It's a very special remix. You'll hear a little bit of that very soon. Hashtag J-Files on Twitter. Hayley WizKid, you've done it. You say, so I had no idea that I was actually a long-time Sia fan. This J-Files is awesome. Thank you. Christoph, you say that Sia's Clap Your Hands is helping you get through a very slow night at work. And you can hit us up on Facebook too, Double J Radio. Keep it coming, keep it flowing in. Now, Marty from WA, I know you're a very long-time fan of Sia's because you discovered her on a little site called MySpace, Marty. Hello.
G'day, how are you going?
Oh, mate, it is, we're having a ball kind of jumping through the back catalogue of Sia tonight. Now, why is she so special to you?
Like I say, back in the days of MySpace, I'm 63, you know, and I just love music. I live for music. And when I find a new artist, which Sia was to me then, I just fell over, head over heels in love with her, you know. And to this day, you know, I follow her right from Healing is Difficult, probably when I came on to Sia, right through to the present day, you know. And hearing this show on Double J tonight is just made my day, made my week, made my year, you know. And talking to you live, it's just thank you very much.
Oh, Marty, you're an absolute sweetheart. Have you gotten to see Sia perform live?
Unfortunately, I've been living bush a lot of my life, especially up in the far north tropics, and I just haven't got to see her. But I follow her, you know, I'm online most of the time wherever I go, and I listen a lot to her, and yeah. She's very special.
Man. Hey, we are actually going to be playing more live music by Sia coming up soon. So, mate, Marty, it doesn't matter if you're in the bush or in the concrete jungle tonight, you're going to get live music from her, okay?
Thank you very much. It's just wonderful. Love you all.
And you are an old school fan, so you probably recognise this song. Some real down-tempo romanticism in it. This is Day Too Soon by Sia on Double J tonight. From her record, Some People Have Real Problems.
Pick me up in your arms, carry me away from harm. You're never gonna put me down. Oh, I know you're just one good man. You'll die before we see land. You're never gonna put me down. Oh,
This week on doublej.net.au.
From tragedy to triumph, the story of pop superstar Sia is inspiring and fascinating. Read about it in our full J-Files feature article.
Michelle Gondry is one of the most celebrated film clip directors of all time. Miff Warhurst gives us her favourite Gondry moments.
And Lance Ferguson gives us the 10 Australian acts he thinks you should keep your eye on in 2015.
Check out all these articles and more, plus stream the week's shows on doublej.net.au.
I click with pen to watch it burst. To make noise, I use my breath. To unlock doors, I use a key. And when I'm looking for something, I use my eyes. I use booze to unlock me. me why I smoke, I don't know.
On Double J, you're listening to The J Files.
And this, for me, was one of the earliest memories of hearing Sia and hearing her voice and hearing, you know, these off-kilter melodies and lyrics and that real kind of tragic but beautiful sound to her voice. This is The Different Gear versus Sia. Drink to Get Drunk. 2001 was when this came out, a track that was meant to be the final single on her record, Healing is Difficult. Didn't ever end up getting a proper release, but this remix just got cranked. Up just before it, you heard a track that just shows off that romanticism to her, Day Too Soon by Sia. It is the J-File tonight. You're on Double J. Linda Mariano with you. Hey, make sure you check out doublej.net.au as well. There is a brilliant long-form read that you can just snuggle up in bed with and scroll through tonight before falling asleep. It's up now at doublej.net.au. And so much more stuff coming up for you in this next hour of the Sia J-File. You'll hear Sia giving an insight into her onstage costumes, into her, I guess, lack of wanting to be a pop star, and her brilliant Like a version that she did in the Triple J studios. And of course, thank you for getting involved. A lot of people wanting to hear this next song. This is for a bunch of people that have hit us up on the Double J Facebook page, including you, Kimberly. You say it's an emotional beauty. It's called Soon Will Be Found by Sia on Double J.
Come along, it is a bright day. Shouting now, you have some things to say. It's not the time for telling tales on me. So come along, it won't be long till we'll turn happy. Shut your eyes, there are no lies in this world we call sleep. Let's deserve this day of hurt. Tomorrow will be free. That's not fine, I'm tired, can we just sleep tonight? Turn away, since there's nothing left here to say. Turn around, I know we're lost, but soon we'll be found.
The J Files.
You bring me to life when you shut me out. You keep me silent when I should shout. You make me cry, you make me calm. You are the cop and I'm on the run. It all begins just one kiss. I'm held hostage by your love. Hold me in cuffs, lock me up. I'm held hostage by your touch. This prison is rough, but I can't get enough. The secret love of
Oh, it's just the way that her voice cracks. It's perfect and husky. Hostage by Sia on Triple J. That's one of the older tracks that she wrote for her latest record, 1000 Forms of Fear, a song that I think she was performing live as early as 2011. Before that, a real favourite for a few people that were hitting us up about it, Soon Will Be Found by Sia. It is all about that woman tonight, Sia Furler, originally from Adelaide, then moved over to London, now calls New York home. We are doing the J-File, all about her this evening. My name's Linda Mariano. It is Double J. Coming up soon, I want us to have a boogie. I want us to have some fun tonight. We're going to throw down one of what I reckon is the best remixes of a Sia track really soon. And Tara from Mackay. Now, you know how much a premier songwriter Sia is, don't you?
Yes.
She does a lot of songwriting, a lot of collaborating, but you actually wanted to hear a song that she didn't write and a song that she covered. What is it, Tara?
It's Paranoid Android by Radiohead.
Wow. So this is a cover that she did almost 10 years ago now for the OK Computer kind of 10-year anniversary of that record. Why do you love this cover?
I just think it's so haunting and so beautiful.
It is. It's very eerie, isn't it?
Yes.
It is. Should we just get into it?
Yes.
Rain down, go
Kirsty, you've tweeted, you hashtagged J-Files. That's how I was able to find you. You wrote, just when I thought I couldn't love her anymore. This Radiohead cover, hashtag so beautiful. Another text has just come in saying, she's the only thing that got me through school. As an Adelaidean myself, I'm listening in here from India tonight. She is a stunning, stunning person to do covers. And coming up for you soon, you'll hear a cover that she did in the Triple J studio. She came in and knocked out a brilliant Leica version. But in terms of being a songwriter, I mentioned to you earlier tonight that she is a prolific songwriter to the stars. Let's check out some of the big pop hits that she's written.
I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Far away, far away. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. And now I will start living too. Girl, let me look you, baby. Hope you can tell, but I hope she smells my perfume.
And man, we could have just gone on for hours with the pop songs that she has penned. In there, you heard a bunch. Titanium, the David Guetta song, where he loved her demo vocals so much he didn't even get her to re-record them. He just released it as was. You heard Diamonds by Rihanna. You heard a bit of Britney, a bit of Beyonce. And man, she is just on call constantly. Katy Perry knocking down the door amongst others. You're with Linda Mariano. It's the Sia J File. Let's get dancing. This is a real favourite, nice and light-hearted. After that Paranoid Android cover, this is the CSS remix of Buttons by Sia.
On Double J, you're listening to the J-Files.
And we're excited to have on the line the dancer behind Sia's J Award-winning music video Chandelier. It's 12-year-old Maddie Ziegler. Hey, Maddie.
Hi.
Tell us about the shooting of Chandelier. How many times did you have to practice that dance before you got it right for that sort of almost one shot?
Well, I went to LA and they gave me, I think, 3 or 4 days to learn it. And I learned it in 3 hours. So I kind of just like blocked it out for like 3 days and on set, and it was really hard because we had curtains and the couches and the tables. It was just kind of, difficult for all the camera angles and everything, so it took us a while to block that out, so it was good that I learned it in just 3 hours.
Yeah, how many times did you have to shoot it?
Well, we did each room a lot of times, and then we did, I would say, 2 times all the way through, but it's really hard to go all the way through because of the camera getting through the rooms and getting the right angle. So we had to do it room by room and like step by step.
The J-Files.
I think like this all the time. You don't know what it's like to be me. You're not paranoid, you're out there, you're free. I don't like me much anymore. You made me feel unburdened. You made me feel like a bore.
On Double J, you're listening to the J-Files.
You actually mentioned that the Healing is Difficult album was sort of a cathartic process of getting all that stuff sort of out, and a lot of your songs and even a lot of your delivery is very, very emotional and it's very real, and that can't be argued. Do you get to a point where you start wondering how much you're putting in and if there's going to be any left for you, and do you ever feel like completely depleted? No, I think with that Friendly track, I was really, one of the reasons that I was shy about anyone knowing it was me was because I felt embarrassed about having those emotions and about everyone knowing them. Yeah. But I think that was probably when that became successful, that was kind of empowering, and so it was probably one of the most important things to happen because it made me want to write more honestly and to know that all of that's acceptable. So that's what I do. That's my therapy. And the rest of the time, I'm really good fun and happy.
I was going to ask you then, is it difficult then to get up and play it every night?
No, just because I don't. I've only done about 4 gigs for this album. We'll ask you in a couple of months' time.
Yeah.
You've been on Top of the Pops a few times.
You tickle me pink. I love the way you think. So when I'm feeling low, I know, little man, I'm by far your greatest fan. Little man, I'm endlessly proud of you. In such a short time span, you filled my heart with song. As I grow older, you grow wise.
Vampires are known to sneak around.
On Double J, such a variety across Sia's back catalogue for you tonight. This is Little Man from her. Going back to her Healing is Difficult record from 2001. At the top, we were having a little boogie to Brazilian group CSS remixing Sia's track Buttons, which came out on her 2008 record, Some People Have Real Problems. And in the middle, do you remember that song? Some Kind of Love Song by an Australian producer called Friendly, featuring Sia. It came out back in 1999, and it's just one of those songs that perfectly exemplifies her as a biting songwriter. You know, the melodies kind of flip all over the place. She swears. It's this, you know, kind of story of heartbreak, and it's a bit angsty as well. I love that track, Some Kind of Love Song. What a find. Friendly featuring Sia for you tonight. It is Double J. You are listening to Linda Mariano. Hello. It's so nice to be with you, presenting the Sia J File this evening. And Beck from the Blue Mountains, you've got a funny Sia story. Tell me.
Well, I was fortunate enough to get last-minute tickets to her very last Enmore show way back. Oh, gosh, I don't know when. But, yeah, and I was really stuck right in the front of the mosh pit, all crowded by everybody, sweating my bottom off. And she was talking to the audience, and I just called out, "Can I have your towel?" And she said, "Yeah, sure." And she gave me her towel.
From up on stage?
Yeah, from up on stage. It was really hot and sweaty and crowded, and I just thought, okay, well, she's not using it, you know. Why not? I'm sweating. I need it. And bottles of water there were like $8, so I just took the chance, and she gave me her towel.
That is so, so lovely. What a testament to her just being a fair dinkum, awesome bloke. Like, she's a legend.
So down to earth and just connected with every audience member there. It was so lovely.
Oh, you've got to hear the interview that I'm about to play as well, because it just shows how hilarious and down to earth she is. That is exactly it. Now, Al Sankauskas from Adelaide, you were the mastering engineer for her debut solo record, Only See. We played that title track a little bit earlier in the J Files tonight. So you actually worked on that record. Tell me about that.
Well, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, she is such a talent. She is unbelievably able to maximise her vocal usage, and she was extraordinary right from the word go. Right from the first track that was put on, Jessie said, "Have a listen to this," and I went, "Whoa, this is absolutely insane." So. Fantastic artist. All credit to you guys for doing the expose.
Well, that's it. Well, and for those that don't know, Only See was a record that she put out in 1997. And did you think back then when you were working with her that she would, you know, take on the world the way that she has?
Well, she always had this talent. I mean, I picked it straight away. So it didn't surprise me when she made it, you know, to the big smoke and got very, very large in her following and so forth, so on. But, you know, she's got it. She's just so unique in so many ways. Unbelievable, yeah.
You absolutely called it out back then. You called it almost 20 years ago. Thank you so much for being part of the Sia J File tonight. We're going to rewind back to, well, I guess a decade after you worked with her, 2008. She dropped by. She hung out with Lindsay, the Dr. McDougall, in the Triple J studios, and she did Like a Version.
That's right. It's Like a Version, and in the studio we have Sia Furler with her very good friends Tim and Joe. And we're about to break into the... What are you writing on your hand?
I've forgotten the words. And I'm trying to remember each... there's verses. So I was going to do When I Look Up, I think is one of them, but I can't remember if it's the first. It's I Look Around Me is one of them, but I can't remember what... I Look Around Me...
That's the second verse we hear.
Is it? I think... I'm not sure.
That's what Tim's saying.
When I Look Up is the second verse.
Well, whilst we're looking for the lyrics,
Yeah.
Can we talk about you getting serenaded by Amy Winehouse in your hotel room?
That was nice.
Was it nice?
Yeah, she's a really nice person.
I'm sure she is.
She was a really nice host, and then she got her guitar out and she started singing Little Man, which was from my first album, Healing is Difficult.
This must feel amazing to be, you know, a kid from Adelaide who's sort of shot overseas. You've got Christina Aguilera commenting on your back catalogue and Amy Winehouse singing songs from your past.
Yeah, it's really awesome. I really like it. Now, if only I could be as rich as them.
Yeah, exactly. Well, surely you could borrow a bit of cash off them or something.
Actually, Christina insisted on paying for my mani-pedi the other day.
Didn't you turn up on her doorstep with like $200 in your account or something?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I got kind of, I guess my accountant didn't do his job properly, and it cost me like $170,000 or something, so I had $200. Yeah, I'm going to be broke for like 7 months, and then it's funny to be in this position. And
you can take some of those tea bags if you want. We'll just give them to you.
Thank you. Cool. Actually, the record company sent me over a care package yesterday, and it had lots of tea, and it was very sweet.
Very good.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but yeah, I guess so.
So the money, did you owe it to the tax department or something?
Yeah.
All right, Sia, we're going to have to stop this hilarious line of questioning, and for the sake of your voice, get into the cover song, which is The Pretenders on Triple J. Sia with The Pretenders, I Go to Sleep.
I go to sleep and imagine that you're there with me. I go to sleep and imagine that you're there with me. I look around me and feel you are ever so close to me.
The J Files. Join in on Facebook and Twitter. #JFiles.
It's a real favourite. You've changed from the We Are Born record from 2010. That's Sia on Double J. Before it, a very special Like a Version that she did in the Triple J studios with you and the Doctor back in 2008, a cover of I Go to Sleep. It is the Sia J File tonight. You're with Linda Mariano, and let's bounce right back into some more live music. We do only have about 10 more minutes together, so yes, there is a big hit coming up for you really soon. You might be able to guess the song, but you may not be as familiar with the version that you're about to hear. Okay, live music for you now. We're going back to the big day out in 2011, recorded by Triple J. This is The Fight.
Yes, we are born, and we play victim with such conviction, and we've never believed both you and me. We made it through the darkness to the light. Oh, how we fought, and still we won the fight. Oh, yes, we stand together. A fantasy for you and me.
Recorded live at the big day out in 2011. That is Sia, The Fight for you on the Sia J File. It's almost time for me to get out of here, but before I do, here's what's happening next week.
The J Files.
Before the Smiths frontman turned solo artist touches down in Australia, the J Files explores Morrissey's most memorable lyrics and music.
Certainly with British popular music, it was really happening for the first time, and there was lots of excitement that hadn't existed before.
I would go out tonight, but I haven't got a stitch to wear.
Richard Kingsmill brings you the Morrissey J File. Next Thursday night at 8 on Double J.
Woohoo! My name's Linda Mariano. It's been an absolute blast spending the last couple of hours with you, talking about Sia, playing Sia, just living up a Sia life. I've got to say a big thank you to the J Files team for putting it all together. Chloe Lake, Sam Lee, Mike Williams, Dan Bahaja and Dan Condon, who has put up an amazing feature story up at the Double J website, doublej.net.au. Go and read it. You can also stream this show if you've missed any of it and sign up to the podcast as well. Thank you so much for being involved tonight. It's been such a wonderful night. And let's end with the big one. This is the huge one from last year. It's Chandelier by Sia and the piano version for you on Double J.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so I'm back till I lose count.